Hey guys, yeah, let's make sure everything is working right here. Seems that it is on YouTube, and now we're going to check over on Twitch as well, because I'm using what's known as Restream, or Restream, if you will. So that kind of helps out a little bit. So yeah, it's on both. It is on both platforms, if you will. Probably a little bit better on YouTube than Twitch right now. But yeah, it's a simulcast, so hope you guys like that. Hopefully. But yes, it is on Restreams. It is courtesy of Restream, if you will, not StreamYard, but Restream, I should say. Let me double check on my TV and everything. And yes, it's on there. Okay, it's on there. So yeah, this is one way for anybody who wants to do a multi-stream to watch this, if you will. So yeah, basically, again, welcome to this live stream. First one I'm doing since basically a week ago, because as you know, or as I've been trying to explain, for those of you watching on Twitch here, you probably know this as well. For those of you that hopefully are watching without any issue on Twitch right now, some of you probably know this already. But basically, long story short, if you will, I was off of YouTube this past week, and for some of you that may want to know why, some of you that are watching me on YouTube and wondering, okay, what were you over the past week and everything, it's quite simple. YouTube basically, and they had the right to do this, they suspended me. Yeah, they suspended me, and the reason they suspended me and everything was because what I did was I basically, long story short, I uploaded. Well, I wouldn't say upload. What I did basically, long story short, is one of the videos I uploaded, I was talking about some of my new stories that I had written thanks to the help of Sudo Write. That's SUDO Write, WRITE. And basically, I had linked one of the stories. I linked one of the one of the stories onto the description, if you will. I linked one of the things on the description, and what happened is that apparently the link to one of the stories had an image that I found online of supposedly Tails and his mom kind of doing the thing, if you will, getting intimate, if you will, in his tornado, in his biplane. And that was enough for basically YouTube to say, okay, you're out. We're not going to let this happen anymore. So I ended up basically, long story short, I ended up basically being suspended. I ended up being suspended for a week. Now, apparently, what YouTube has said and everything is that, normally everybody that, gets a suspension and everything, everybody that gets a suspension and everything for the first time, usually doesn't. They usually don't get the. They don't normally basically get another one. They don't normally get a second one or anything like that. So they're pretty much off. They're pretty much off the hook, if you will. They're pretty much off the hook and everything. And they're good to go. They're good to go after that one strike. The only problem with that for a lot of folks like myself that have this strike is we have to be very careful, if you will. We have to be very careful about what we post. It's kind of like with the warning I got last year, almost around the same time, just a little later. This one was about a month and a year later than the last one. But basically, I basically when that one happened, I had no choice but to kind of cover my tracks. I had to kind of be more careful about what I put. I mean, I could still talk and discuss things, and everything, and that wouldn't be a big deal. The only issue was the fact that the only issue was the fact that what's the word I'm looking for? And I'm linking this up to most places that I can find it at. Basically, again, I had to mainly, I could say certain things, talk about certain things, describe stuff, but I couldn't, I had to be basically very, very careful about what I put on YouTube. Well, basically what I would link sometimes on YouTube. So I had to be careful about that. And, that's why I wasn't on YouTube for a while. I wasn't, YouTubing or anything for a while because of that. It was mainly because of that. I couldn't basically be where you guys could find me and everything like that. And if you guys want to watch me on Twitch, I am also on Twitch as well at twitch.tv/bwroses and everything. So that's where I'm at. I'm at twitch.tv/bwroses. So if you guys want to find me there, go ahead. It'll be greatly appreciated. But like I said, I was just, and hello to David White Arcade and Toy Channel and Gino Morgan TV. To answer your questions, that's what I'm trying to do here. For those of you that are just joining, and I'm sorry for any delay there, any delay or lag, I do apologize. We've been having issues with Xfinity 2 over the past week, believe it or not. What I mean by that, and there we go again, it seems that my computer wants to load, and sometimes when it loads, it slows things down. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, basically what happened was, and again, things are acting up. I do apologize for any delay. I do not know what's happening here. I do apologize. This is my first time doing a multi-stream, so I do apologize on that. Let me check on the tube, see what's going on there. Yeah, it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. That's what it's saying. So I do apologize for any lag that you guys are experiencing right now, because it's not receiving enough video. Again, we've been having issues with YouTube over the past week or so. As I've mentioned before in one video, and it looks like we're okay now, but like I mentioned in one video, Xfinity basically has, how do I put this? Xfinity has been having outage issues all across Stanislaus County. And what happened was mainly what happened? I'll get into that in a moment. But like I said, getting back on topic here, what I was trying to explain, Gino and David, um, what happened was, like I said, last year, to go kind of get back on track here, I uploaded a link to a story known as, I think it was called Burning Passion or Burning Love. No, it's Burning Passion. And it was a story involving Tails and Blaze. And I linked that, or, well, yeah, I think I linked it, but I also showed the story. Like I kind of did a video, basically an on-screen recording of the entire story so people could read it here on the tube. And that got me in trouble. The story got removed, it got me in trouble. So I'm like, okay, fine, got to be more careful about that. Well, what happened is that basically I did it. So basically what happened is I got a warning. I got a warning, and that was it. So not thinking or anything, thinking nothing could happen. Well, actually, I was thinking, oh, nothing could happen, right? What occurs is basically what occurs is that I essentially, and this is true fact, I essentially linked one of the stories, as I was mentioning earlier. I linked one of the stories that I had done thanks to the help of Sudo Wright. That's Sudo Wright. That was focused on Tails and his mom doing the thing, if you will. And the link to the story had an image as a cover, because sometimes when you just go to regular DeviantArt, or, well, not regular DeviantArt, but when you go to the literature portion to submit a deviation, because they got the different deviants, if you will, different options to select to submit something. So you have the regular deviations to submit, but then you also have literature, so where you can just write down what you're going to talk about, maybe link a video like this or something like that. So what happened is I went to the literature part, put the whole story that I wrote about them, copy and pasted it from Sudo Wright, if you will, placed it onto that section, on that blank canvas that they give you to type on. And then one of the things they ask you to do when you submit it, and then you have to put in the description and then put the title back in and everything. One of the things they ask you to submit, after doing all that as well, putting tags in there for people to find it, is an image. And I wanted an image that kind of related to what the story was about. And long story short, guys, I ended up basically choosing an image, like I mentioned earlier, where Tails and his mom are pictured doing the thing in his tornado, in his biplane, if you will. And not thinking that could cause any issue, I linked it, and it caused an issue. And YouTube's like, nope, we've got to take this down. And oh, by the way, we're going to suspend you from uploading, live streaming, posting, and all that for at least a week. That's what we're going to do. And that's what they did. So, yeah, I ended up being suspended because of that. And what's crazy is when you look here on YouTube, or you look on Twitch, or you look on Dailymotion, or any of these platforms, even VENMO, if you will, which also you can find me at VENMO/BWRosis over there. I have some new stuff over there as well. The one issue with all these video uploading platforms that allow you to upload videos, live stream, whatever, the one issue with them is and I say it with all due respect, no offense, they don't have the priorities straight. I mean, even Doug Walker, as Nostalgia Critic, in his recent review he did of Beavis and Butthead Do America, even he joked about the fact that, most of the time YouTube doesn't have people watching and all that, just because of what is presented, by certain people and stuff. And that's true. But it's not just true for YouTube. It's true for VENMO. It's true for, Dailymotion, Twitch, you name it, BitChute, you name it. All these platforms, this is very notable about. Very notable. And it is indeed an issue. It is indeed an issue because, you know, you would think honestly, that, you know, basically all these platforms, from the highest of high platforms like a YouTube and such, to the ones that are up and coming to be the alternative, you think they get their priorities straight, but they don't have them straight, and that's an issue. And that's a problem a lot of people have with them. It's like, hey, we know and understand why you got to do certain things, but if you're going to do that to us, you need to do it to everybody else. And that's it. That is pretty much it. But they don't do it. They don't do it, and that's what causes them a lot of issues with a lot of folks. So because of me kind of, you know, doing something I shouldn't have done, it cost me a week. And then, like I said earlier, YouTube has a history of, YouTube says that, you know, they have a history of people basically not doing this, you know, for a second time. They have a history of people, you know, not doing this, you know, for a third time and all that. You know, they have a history of people not repeating the same mistakes, basically. And if that's true, that's great. You know, if that's true, that's great, because, you know, I don't need to be repeating the same issues that I've done before. I don't. You know, I don't need to be repeating the same issues and everything. And I do apologize for anybody that's having lag issues on Twitch. Like I said, it's my first time multi-streaming, period. You know, I might do this on occasions and all that, so just letting you guys know. And I think a lot of people use Restream to do this as well. Anyway, like I said, I was basically suspended for that. You know, I could still comment and everything and still watch YouTube. It's just that I was pretty much put into a timeout. Like when we were kids, you know, our parents would ground us and, you know, take certain things away from us for like a couple of days, maybe a week, privileges and all that. That's kind of what happened to me. Or kind of like at school, like, you know, if, you know, we get in trouble and the teacher says, okay, you're not going to do what the other students are doing for the whole week, or at least for the next few days. Hey, hopefully you'll learn your lesson. And then after that time passes, it's like, okay, you're back on equal footing. The only issue is you still have that strike, or that, you know, that warning, or that moment still lingering above you, kind of watching over you like a shadow, if you will, or a supervisor, you know, at a job. Kind of like when you're applying for a job and you get hired and you're given, you know, and you got to go through this 90 day situation to see whether or not you're going to pan out. And that's kind of what's happening here, you know, with YouTube. After you get the first strike, and I'm assuming the second strike the same way, you have 90 days to wait till it's removed. Now, I don't know what happens after the 90 days. I don't know what happens, honestly. You know, I don't know what occurs. If I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if it just goes back to just the warning and everything, and then pretty much it's like starting over again. I don't know what you know, what they do or anything like that, but yeah, that's basically why I was suspended. Honestly, that's why I pretty much, you know, lost my privileges for at least a week. It was kind of around that situation, and now I'm in a situation to where it's like I'm just starting a new job, which hopefully I'll be starting a new one at Grocery Outlet or somewhere soon, maybe at my sister's job at Kohl's in Patterson. But basically it's kind of like starting a new job. You're being watched for 90 days. Like if I was to get rehired by Target or even Walmart, despite the fact that I know I would know probably the job position they put me in like the back of my hand, if you will, they still have to watch me for 90 days. They still have to watch me for 90 days, essentially. You know, that's what they got to do. They got to watch me for 90 days, you know, and to see if I'm going to work out, to make sure I don't make any mistakes, if you will. That's kind of what it is. It's kind of the situation here. but yeah, you know, it's been, but yeah, the week so far, but yeah, that's what happened of the past week, and that's why today, or yesterday, I should say, for those of you that are subscribed to me here on YouTube, you saw a peripheral. I mean, just almost, I wouldn't say unlimited, but near 25, actually 23 or 27 actually, over 25, basically 27 videos be uploaded, because the majority of those videos were live streams that I had done, on Twitch over the past week, and downloaded onto my computer and highlighted, if you will, so I could have them ready to go. The other ones that were before that, the My Little Pony collection video, the AEW, the Talking AEW Women's Locker Room, the G.I. Joe figures, those were ones that were supposed to debut last Sunday, but because of the suspension, debuted yesterday. So that's basically what happened. That's essentially what happened to me over this past week. Basically I could not do anything because of that. And I will admit that's my fault. I take responsibility for that. And YouTube, as much as people may not like to admit to it, they have the right to do what they had. They had the right to do what they had to do. And now I have to wait basically a little over 90 days. Yeah. Because right now, it's 110 days to go as of today. But I have 110 days starting today till I can get that strike removed. It'll go by fast. It will go by fast. There's no doubt, because I know when I got the warning, I was fine afterwards. It's like, nothing to really worry about and everything. And now I got the strike. And again, I don't know how things work. I don't know how things work. Basically, when it comes to when it comes to you, to the whole, 90 days past the strike goes bye. I think I do know how it works. Like, basically, it's just, because they say they say basically after you get your first strike, you don't get another one. So they're saying basically after 90 days, essentially you go back to starting over again. I'm not really sure. Like, I don't know if the warnings, like the ones you do, and then starting to begin the year, they're like, okay, start over or something. I don't really know. I don't really know, but I do know I got to be careful. I really do. And what's funny about this, and I wouldn't say it's a funny haha, but what's ironically funny is I was watching right before this happened, Lewis Lovehog's Atop the Fourth Wall video review on E-Robot, the manga, the webcomic manga, and he basically mentioned at the beginning that he ended up, because what Lewis Lovehog does in October, basically what he's going to be doing in 2 months, and setting up for that right now, is he does the long box of the Damned. It's basically a daily review thing that he does. It's a daily review thing he does every. It's basically a daily review show, or mini episodes that he does every day. As this alter ego of his. I can't think of it. It's called Moriarty. That's what it is. Alter ego called Moriarty, or I think that's the name. And he does, he does these daily reviews where he reviews dark, very Halloween like material, whether it's comics or manga or whatever, that coincides with the month of Halloween, which is October. So basically, at the start of his review for E-Robot, he mentioned that he ended up getting a strike. Now, unlike with me, mine was a community guideline strike. His, however, was a copyright strike. Now, I don't know what the difference is between the two. Well, I kind of do, but I don't know what the difference is when it comes to, basically removing one after 90 days or whatever. But basically, he basically said he had a copyright strike. And again, I don't know if he got it removed or not, but it's the kind of strike that, from what I heard and understood, he probably tried to appeal but did so unsuccessfully. So now he has to just deal with the fact that he has this one copyright strike looming over him, and that he could be 2 strikes away from losing his channel. Now, I don't think that will happen. I think over time, that strike, like mine, will disappear. I think what's going to happen, and this is not just for YouTube, but it's for all video platforms out there. I think basically what's going to happen is they're going to essentially become, be going under new ownership. We know that YouTube, Google's YouTube division has been going through a change over this past year, and the past several months, with new change in leadership and everything. So I've got a feeling a lot that's happened to people like me and Lewis Lovehog, Glenn Cara, if you will. What's happened with Channel Awesome, because I'm sure they've gotten one or two, or not, maybe one, and others as well. I'm sure a lot of those are going to disappear over time. It'll be like, hopefully the new guy will be like, look, I'm running things now. I'm making some of the shots. I'm calling some of the shots. I'm gonna basically allow you to start off with a clean slate. That's what I think could happen. I'm not saying it will, but it's a possibility. It is a very, very strong possibility, as my computer is loading right now. So if that affects anything, I do apologize. But yeah, basically that was, and it looks like it's affecting it a little bit, not much. Yeah, it is affecting it a little bit because, it's loading right now. I can hear it. I don't know why it loads and everything. My computer. That's the one thing about the computers. Sometimes you would think, basically, of Windows or IBM or whoever the software that's installed in the computer, they give you the option to. And I do apologize for any lag and all that, guys. But you'd think, they give you the option to basically, they give you the option to pause the updates. You think they would understand, oh, this guy's doing a live stream, or this person's doing yep, it's doing one of those. Yep, there it goes. I do apologize for this, guys. Hold on. Hold on, guys. It's doing one of the updates. I do apologize. Or doing something. Yeah, it goes. Sorry for that, guys. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but apparently it has to do updates. Even, like I said, you pause the updates, it still wants to do updates. Well, it's trying to do a virus scan or something. Yeah, I apologize for that, guys. Uh, I don't know what. It's not the first time it's done this to me, and I'm sure it's not the first time it's done it to anybody else. But that's the one issue too about that I've had sometimes. It's like I said, if you're a software provider like Windows or IBM or Apple, whoever, and you have your software installed into something, and you give people the option to pause the monthly updates or whatever they are, then but you still persist on doing the update, then why don't you just take the update option away? That's my issue. That's my issue. It's like if you don't want people pausing the updates, then why don't you just take it away? Be done with it. I mean, you do updates anyway. You do updates anyway. Okay, now you do updates anyway, even when people don't, even when people pause it. Why not just keep it on there and not let people pause? That's what I don't get. So I do apologize for any issue you guys just experienced there. Now, it could have been also it was doing an update for virus protection, like virus update protection, security, whatever. Or doing, a virus scan. And if that's the case, it should let me know at the bottom right-hand corner here, hey, we're doing a virus scan, or, hey, in about 30 minutes we're going to do a virus scan, don't use your computer or whatever. It's such a big pain in the butt, just a big pain in the butt. Let me know if you guys have dealt with that before. But I do apologize for any lag or issues right then and there. Now I also know probably other people around here in my neighborhood who have Xfinity are probably using the internet too, and probably that's causing an issue. But I don't think it should. I don't think it should, but maybe that's what's going on. I don't really know. So I apologize for any lag that currently happened. I do apologize for anybody that's still experiencing a bit of lag over on Twitch and everything as we are doing this. But yeah, apparently my computer wanted to do an update and everything. It's like, oh, I gotta do an update. I have to do the update here. Let me do an update. Let me do a virus scan. It's like, if you're going to do a virus scan, then just do a virus scan or whatever. Let us know. It gets annoying when you do this to a lot of people, okay? It's very annoying. It gets very, very annoying. So I do apologize for any lag that you guys may have just experienced. It shouldn't have happened like that. I do apologize. Anyway, and apparently I'm going a little longer on Twitch. That's weird. I don't know how I'm doing over here on YouTube. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, I've got a feeling, and I'm about 33 minutes here, so wonder why it's falling behind here on Restream. That's weird. But anyway, like I was saying, getting back to what I was saying, basically, it's kind of like this whole situation is that, I've got a feeling over time, things are going to be fine, things are going to be okay, and all that, and we won't have to worry too much, whatsoever. We won't have to worry about it, we won't have to worry about strikes and all that too much over time, because I think we'll be fine as my computer is loading again. I don't know why it has to load. I don't know what it's loading and everything. It's almost like it's telling me, hey, pause the thing right now. I need to do an update for you. Or it's doing something. I don't know. It's weird. It's like when you go to other pages on your browser, that's when it acts up a little bit too. Like it can't handle all the pressure, if you know what I mean. It can't handle the pressure and everything. Now it goes up. I don't know what is happening. Again, I think it's just, they're doing updates and everything, and they're like, hey, if you don't want us to not do this, just do the update and we'll leave you alone. It's like, here we go again. Another one. It's like it can't help itself. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what it's loading. It's probably doing a virus scan, knowing my luck. I'll probably check later. It'll probably be exactly that. Probably exactly that and everything. But, I do apologize for any issues here, guys. That you may be experiencing. right now because it's just been one of those. It's just it's just my computer just wants to load right now. I don't know why it's got to load and everything. It's almost like you pause it and then it's fighting against the pausing. It's fighting against it. But anyway, like I was saying, it's been one of the basically the 90 days with the thing. It's just something like when you start a new job and everything, you got 90 days to kind of prove your worth and everything. And like I said, I think over time, what's going to happen mainly over time is again, I think what's going to happen over time is with all these changes going on at places like Google, YouTube, and the division there and the leaderships and all that, and probably Dailymotion and VENMO and Twitter going through the same stuff too. I've got a feeling anybody that's gotten warnings or strikes, that's all going to go away and basically be started anew, basically start out clean and all that. Because again, I don't know how that works here on YouTube or anything. So I do. So yeah, that's basically what's been going on over the past week. But I'll tell you, again, the Xfinity, I don't know if that's the issue right now. I don't think it is. I think my computer just wants to load stuff and everything. It just wants to do a virus scare or something. It's like it's got to load something. I don't know what it's loading, but it's got to load something and everything. But honestly, getting back to, but yeah, basically, that's what happened this past week. Long story short, I know it went a little longer than it should talking about that, but yeah, that's basically what happened. You link a story, you forget, or you don't realize that the image could cause trouble, and there you go. That's basically what happened. And as far as my monetization goes, basically, yeah, I lost that too. I don't know if I lost that because I had a silent version and a mirrored version of Die Young by VisiPop. I don't know if that was the issue. I don't know what the issue could have been, but it was, I basically lost my monetization and everything. And it would have been to at least the day before Halloween, but because of what happened here recently over the past week, it's going to be to November 4th. So just by a few more days after the 29th. Which is when it would have originally ended, but it's going to be November 4th instead because of the strike. Outside of that, it's been one heck of a week. I'm going to tell you guys honestly. It's been one heck of a week. Like I said, the Xfinity situation really didn't help out because what happened was on late Tuesday night, this past Tuesday night, late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, basically post midnight, if you will, post midnight, the internet went out. The internet went out, and basically, according to Xfinity, it was an unplanned outage. Something happened, and the internet was out for about 6 hours. So when I got up the next morning, everything was fine, but it pissed a lot of people off who were still up at that time and probably working, because some of them do work at home. Some of them do work for their jobs from home, and maybe they also work like for the school or whatever, and over the school, some of the schools here in Newman, and basically they essentially lost, everything. Excuse me for a second while I check something. They essentially lost. Yeah, just making sure. But like I said, they essentially lost everything. Is what happened. They essentially lost everything that they were doing. Well, at least the internet connection wise, they lost everything. So they couldn't really do anything, and they had to wait till the next morning for it to kick back up. But then, if that's not enough, that Wednesday, around 2:00 or 2:15 or whatever it was, the internet went down again. But this time for only like 10 to 15 minutes. And what was interesting about that is, again, it upset a lot of people because, again, they were in the middle of stuff. school's starting back up, and so like I said, there are teachers probably working from the school or at home getting ready for the new school year. And basically, as I just checked something there, and basically, for the second time in less than 24 hours, or for the second time in 14 hours, essentially, the internet went out. The internet went out, and basically it caused a lot of trouble for folks. It caused a lot of issues. People were not happy, and basically, it was basically, Xfinity then came out and said, "Oh, what we're doing, honestly, is a plan. Oh, what we did there was a planned outage." Because they said that, "Oh, we noticed there's a situation not where there's a communications issue with your with your internet right now." And I do apologize for any lag again. It's my computer is loading again. I don't know what it's loading and everything. It might be doing a virus scan for all I know. Or anything. So I do apologize for any lag you guys are getting. So there we go. I don't know again what it's loading, but anyway, it couldn't be the internet because my TV would go off and go bing because it's connected to an Ethernet cable as well, so it would go bing if it did. It along with my computer here and along with my PS4, they are connected via Ethernet cable, not Wi-Fi. So I don't know what my thing is loading. I'm assuming it's got to be an update or something like that. Or like I said, like I mentioned earlier, or check later. But basically long story short, not even in the span of 14 hours, it goes off again for about 15-20 minutes on that Wednesday afternoon. And what's crazy is my mom, believe it or not, was working. Well, not working, but my mom, honestly, believe it or not, was in Patterson at that time, taking care of a notary. She has to do a notary because she's in the union. She's retired from the union, but she gets a pension, if you will. Basically that's what anybody in a union gets. After they're retired, they get to a certain age and all that. And because of the years they were at the job, they will get a pension, and that's what my mom got. She got a pension. So, anyway, she has to, every year or so, I think, or every few years, has to go and get this notarized to keep it going. So that's what she has to do. And obviously, the UPS, because that's what she got it done. Obviously, they use Xfinity as their internet provider, and what happened was the internet went out around the same time it went out here. So obviously, we in Newman were not the only ones affected. Obviously, Patterson was also affected. And again, they said, oh, it's a planned outage. And they said basically the people affected were 1 to 50. I think, affecting Patterson along with Newman is more than, 50 people affected, if you know what I mean. So anyway, after that, like I said, after that second time within the span of 14 hours, between the post midnight, early Wednesday morning post midnight outage, and then the, after, basically within, what I'm trying to say, and it's late, I do apologize. What I'm saying is that basically within the span of not even 14 hours, two outages, one unplanned, one planned. So that's what happened there, right? And again, the other one affected my mom a little bit, because she had to get her notary done and everything. Thankfully, she did get it done, in a different kind of manner that was a little different than what everybody is used to doing nowadays. She had to basically pay physical cash for it and all that, which isn't a big deal. Anyway, that's what happened. from last Tuesday, basically going into Wednesday, late last Tuesday evening, going into Wednesday morning, post midnight, internet went out for 6 hours and then back on. And then later on that day, not even 14 hours later, it went off again for about 15, 20 minutes. And it affected not just us here in Newman that have Xfinity, but people in Patterson as well. And I'm sure in other areas as well. But if that's not enough, late Wednesday, if that's not enough, then late Wednesday night going into early Thursday morning, a little after midnight, it happened again. Now I can assume it wasn't for too long because it didn't seem like that, but yeah, it happened again for another few hours, and Xfinity came out and said, oh, it's a planned outage. But I think I know, and anybody else that's had Xfinity or any cable provider knows that, overall multimedia provider knows that that's not true. That's not the truth, because the truth is that Xfinity basically was doing maintenance. It wasn't a planned outage. It wasn't an unplanned outage. That. It was maintenance. Maybe it was maintenance that they forgot about or what they weren't scheduled to have or something. But it was maintenance. It was maintenance that basically, they had to do to fix the issues, as they call it, in our area. And what would the issues be? Maybe the fact that they didn't connect the wiring or upgrade the wiring they should, as they should have, for the 10G network that they were installing in our areas. That's the only thing I can think of. That, because they realized, well, there's not, people are saying they're not really getting 10G. What do we do? That's when they probably said, okay, let's do these outages. Say one's unplanned, one's planned, or the others are planned, just so we can work around that. If it's an issue with the 10G network, then just come out and say it and say, look, we're going to do maintenance because we're going to improve. Just come out and say it. Just say, look, we're planning to do maintenance, for the next couple of days, and where your internet and your other services will be on and off, kind of back and forth, kind of temporarily be out and all that, because we're doing maintenance to improve on the 10G network because we didn't install it properly the first time. That's all you have to say. Just say you didn't install it properly the first time and that you got to work on it. That's all you have to say. People will understand. People will understand. Don't think they won't, because they will. They will understand. Period. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that and everything. So that's that's what happened. Basically that's what happened and everything, was the fact that essentially they did not they did not plan and properly for the they did not plan properly when they installed the 10G networks. So now they had to come out and redo it. They had to come back and redo it, is what they had to do. They had to come back out and, redo it. As I'm just checking something here, because again, my computer is loading a lot. I don't know why it's loading or doing updates, but anyway, that's what I think really happened. That's what I think really happened, was they were doing maintenance to fix the issue of the 10G installment of the 10G service, because they didn't install it correctly. That's and again, all they had to do was just be honest and say, look, we didn't install it correctly. We may have not put the wires in correctly or whatever. So we're going to do a little maintenance update to improve on it. And that's it. That's all they had to do, but they didn't do it. They did not do it, period. They did not do it, period. Anyway, that's what happened with the internet. But then if that's not enough, that's not enough. Friday evening took the cake. Yeah. Friday evening took the cake. And I don't know what it is with midnight or post midnight going into the next day or something. Because if it's not the internet having issues and being put out for a little bit, planned or unplanned or whatever they want to call it, which again I don't believe is true. I think it was a maintenance. I think they were doing maintenance because they didn't install the 10G correctly. If that's not enough, ladies and gentlemen, we ended up having a power outage. Yeah. We ended up having a power outage. It was a temporary one, but it was a power outage. And what happened? Well, basically, somebody, we don't know why this was happening, but apparently there was some apprehension. Basically, police did apprehend certain individuals. We do not know who. But apparently, somebody decided to drive real fast. We don't know why they were driving. We don't know if they fell asleep at the wheel, they were drunk. We don't know what happened. But apparently, they decided to we don't even know if they were pursued. But apparently, they ran into a power pole, into a transformer. They basically ran into a power transformer and knocked power out for a lot of people here in Newman, in Gustine, in some of the surrounding areas. I think even going into Patterson a little bit, they knocked a little bit of the power. They knocked some power out. Now, for some people like us, yeah, the power went out was flickering a little bit, and then went out briefly for a few seconds, and then came back on. But for everybody else, it was out to at least 3:45. It was out basically to at least 3:45 and 4:45 for everybody else. But for me and my mom and certain other people, the power, it flickered on and off, then went out for a few moments, then came back on, and we were good after that. However, I had this on. I had my computer on, and thankfully they do advise to have your computer plugged into a surge protector, because if not, a power outage like that will fry your computer. Will basically, more than likely, cause your computer not to work anymore, or at least damage it to where if it does work, it won't work like it used to. So, yeah, basically, long story short, this computer was shut down, because of the power outage, and I had to basically turn it back on. And I gave it most of the night to fix itself and everything. Thankfully, it did that. And then because its power outage that caused it to go out happened basically the night before or going into the next day or the day of our trip to Santa Cruz, at least for most of the day, I was able to let it repair itself. Most of the night when I slept, I let it repair itself, and then most of the day, I let it repair itself. Basically build itself back up. But yeah, it was not a good, it was like, it's like if this week couldn't get, any worse, when it comes to, the internet and outages and everything. It's like this week could not get any worse, And then on top of that, we go to Santa Cruz, right? So we're going to Santa Cruz. And, me and my mom, we leave the house. We leave here early enough. We go to my sister's, and she's still getting ready. Her son's getting ready. And we wait a little bit to let him get ready and all that. My brother-in-law, my older sister's husband, does not go because he worked a lot the previous night, so he's a little tired. So he's deciding to stay home. So we're waiting, not too long. We get ready to go. And as soon as we get out the door, we're going to the car we're taking, the Expedition. And my sister notices the tire is flat. The tire on the driver's side, on the tire on the rear. Okay, what happens is my sister, let me get some Coca-Cola. Gotta keep myself going here. I do apologize. But anyway, like I was saying, my sister goes, my sister goes and, goes to the car as we're getting ready to go, and she notices that the rear tire, the back tire on the driver's side is flat. It's flat, and she notices there's a nail. There might be a nail in it. So she's like, okay, this is not good, right? And you would think that's God's way of saying maybe you shouldn't be going. But because it's my third oldest nephew's birthday and he wanted to go to Santa Cruz, was like, okay, fine, we'll do that. We'll go to Santa Cruz. And we decided, okay, instead of saying we can't make it and everything, and the other car, she wasn't too sure of, and everything. We decided, okay, we're just gonna tough it out. We're gonna tough it out. So she drives it over to the gas station, fills it up with air, fills up the car with gas, fills up the tire with air, just enough to get us to the AutoZone across, get us to the AutoZone down the street. She goes in the AutoZone, gets Fix-A-Flat, puts that into the tire, after it's already been pumped with air, and that's enough to get us to Santa Cruz, because the Fix-A-Flat works as a glue that, as the tire is rotating, basically absorbs itself into the tire and seals up, any holes or cracks temporarily. So, so that was a bugger. And the route we took, it got us there, but we ran into traffic. It wasn't too much at certain times, but it was enough. There was some traffic, but not too much. But we ran into traffic and everything. And even after making some pit stops, we're like, okay, traffic, we're like, okay, traffic's traffic, it'll lighten up, and it did. But then we get to Santa Cruz, and I can tell you honestly, we get to Santa Cruz, and this is advice for anybody that's watching. A little bit of advice. If you're going to make a trip to a place like Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, or Monterey Bay Aquarium, or Monterey Bay Period, or even, just checking something here, or even Disneyland or whatever, Universal, whatever. If you're going to make a trip down there, make sure you do your research, and make sure that there is nothing going on at that time in the surrounding area. Because if you don't, you're going to be in for heck. That's all I'm going to say. You're going to be in for heck. And that's what we landed into. Because we could not find... It basically took us essentially... Because here's the thing. We got there in good time. A little later than we wanted to, but we got there in good time. Here was the issue. Parking was a beast. We'll put it that way. It was a beast. Because because the parking area we parked in last time we went to Santa Cruz all filled up. They closed it up. We're like, okay, fine. We'll just go around in a circle and everything and go to the parking area that we were being advised by the Google Maps, if you will, to go to before. So we go there, long line and everything, understandable. Long line and everything, understandable. But we go there, okay? We go there, and it looks like basically there's no parking. It's like we're not going to find parking there either. And my older sister's like, you know what? I'm just about to call them up and say, hey, we're here, but we can't find parking. We're just going to head out. We're just going to leave. But thank the Lord, we did find parking. Because basically my sister noticed that some people were turning into one area. They were opening and closing. And this girl comes up. And my sister's thinking, please don't tell me that you guys are closed. Or you're closing up parking. Or everything's filled up. Nope. The girl's like, no, you can come on in. So she opens it up for her. And she goes in. She opens it up for her and she goes in. And it takes us a bit to find parking, but we do. And it's like It's like Jiminy Christmas. It's like, again, if you're gonna plan a trip, okay, if you're gonna plan a trip, ladies and gentlemen, to a place like the Beach Boardwalk in Santa Cruz, or any beach boardwalk where you live, the Atlantic City Beach Boardwalk, if you will. If you guys are going to do that, make sure you do research and make sure you realize that, it's either going to be, a good to go trip because nothing's happening, or you find out it's not a good to go trip because there's other things happening and you decide for something else. Because even my third oldest nephew's parents, they were like, this is the last time we do this for quite some time, unless we have a plan. Because even my second oldest sister's husband is like, next year it's going to be local, it's going to be closer. And even my sister tonight, last night when she was talking to my mom on the phone, even said, yeah, we got to do something closer next time, something that's not so strainable or whatever. And if that and that's all good, and that's all good in the long run, because it would be much easier to do something maybe in Stockton, Sacramento, maybe San Francisco, Oakland, maybe visit family in Hayward or Tracy. Be a better option than what we went through here. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, my older sister even says she has a better chance. She has a better, she's had a better chance, or would have had a better chance, and has had a better chance with the traffic and parking and everything when going to, Southern California to go to Disneyland and all that. So yeah, it was not, parking wise, it was not a fun experience, and we did have a good time. I mean, as you saw in the videos, I played in the arcade a little bit, just like I did before. And just like I did before, I went to the Street Fighter game. I went to the fighting games. I went to the Tekken 5 game, did pretty good on that for a little bit. And then went over to the Super Street Fighter 4 arcade game and played on that and did all right for a bit. Not as good as I did last time, but still did pretty good. And yeah, it was... And yeah, like I said, it was just one of those situations to where it's like, it was just like one of those situations where it's like, really, you're gonna, it's just like one of those situations. It's like, really, if this week couldn't be capped off overall, for someone like me personally, it couldn't be capped off overall, then, besides everything else, this happens and everything, this happens, adding my sister and my mom and my nephew to the equation. It's like, hey, So yeah, we got there and everything, and again, we had fun and everything. We had fun, looked at the ocean. We didn't go on the sand, but we looked at the ocean, enjoyed it, fed the seagulls a little bit that were down there, on the sand, waiting for food to be dropped and everything. So we do all that, and we had fun. We were cool and all that. We had fun. My older sister took her son and the birthday boy and our nephew and his friend on the Giant Dipper, and then the three of them without my older sister went on the pirate ship and everything. So they did that, and so yeah, overall everything was good, So after that, as we're about to leave, because my third oldest sister and her husband, they had to leave because he had to work yesterday, and they had to get my third oldest nephew's friend back home and everything. So we stayed a little bit, played a few more games. My mom and I played a 3D table version of Pong, which got the attention of some people. They're like, ooh, they were kind of impressed. And the thing is, with the boardwalk cards, wait, do I still have mine? Or does she have it? I think she took it or something. But with the boardwalk cards and everything, you're supposed to get like certain amount of plays out of it, right? You know, like for $1 or whatever. The Pong machine, I think, was kind of broken because we just kept going and going and going. And it was a 3D Pong machine. It wasn't like, you know, the regular arcade, like, doot, 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 doot. No, it was basically like, it was like air hockey, but with Pong, if you will. So after that, we did some pinball games, and then we left. Then after that, we left. But there was an issue. You know, you recall the flat tire thing you recall the flat tire I told you about earlier? Yeah, that was the issue. That was the issue. The flat tire basically came back to haunt us. And I apologize for any lag as I checked something here, guys. But yeah, the flat tire came back to haunt us. It did. The flat tire came back to haunt us. And you want to know why I say it came back to haunt us? Huh? You want to know why I say it came back to haunt us? Yeah, I apologize for any lag for you guys watching on Twitch. Again, this is my first time doing a multi-stream. But you want to know why it came back to haunt us? You want to know why? And I apologize for any lag now because my computer is loading. But anyway, you want to know why it came back to haunt us? Because we go back out, as we're leaving, we go to the parking lot, and we go to check the tire, and it's, once again, it's flat. But this time, flatter than before. Flat to the point that even if my sister put Fix-A-Flat in there, it would not help it. And even if she tried to drive it, that thing would fall apart in an instant. Well, basically look like it would be bound to do that. So, what happened is my mom had to... So what happened, my older sister had to call AAA. She had to use my mom's AAA to, you know, get somebody over there. And thankfully we did get somebody arriving a lot sooner than what the AAA automatic service or automatic GPS thought it would, or thought they would. And the guy showed up. At first he thought we were at the hotel, which is right across from the parking lot. He thought we were at I think it was the Fireside Hotel, whatever it's called. You know, he thought we were there, but we had to tell him. My sister had to text him and call him and say, "Oh no, we're over here across the street." So he came over there. They let him in because apparently the attendees there said, "Oh yeah, this happens almost every day." So they let him in. You know, they let him in and everything. You know, they let him in, and he sees what happened. He sees the tire, and he asked, "Well," because at first I think his plan was to, you know, mount the Expedition onto the back of the tow, because he had it was a tow truck basically, to where he would drive it up to the holding area, tie it down, and then drive us back home. But he asked basically how far we had to go, and she said, "Oh, we got to go back to Patterson, California." And that's like, ooh. Even he understood, oh, that's not good. This is not good. And apparently he felt very sorry. He felt very sorry for what happened and everything. And, you know, obviously he's a very local person, and he probably doesn't know what Patterson is. But, well, he probably does know what Patterson is, but doesn't know how to get there. So, you would think he should, because he's AAA. Well, he works for AAA anyway. So, anyway, long story short, basically what he does is he fills it up, and he doesn't even check my mom's card. He doesn't check it. You know, it's all good, because apparently he felt sorry for the fact that we had come all the way from the Central Valley to Santa Cruz, and now we were potentially stuck there. So anyway, we got that all situated. My mom even texted the guy when we got home after getting back to my sister's. But here's what's interesting. We did not take the route we took coming up there. No, we took what's known as the freeway route. We took the route going towards San Jose, Oakland, and all of them. And that did get us home quicker than the route that took us up to Santa Cruz. But yeah, that was fun. That was fun and everything. And of course we had to make a pit stop and everything at some gas stations to, relieve ourselves and all that. But after that, again, we got home and everything. And now my sister's like, well, if my husband had any plans to go to Black Oak Casino, He's going to have to put those plans on hold now because we need tires. We need tires. Those are the most important thing. We need them, and he knows it. Oh, he's going to know it, basically. But yeah, that's basically what's been happening this week. On top of the fact that, like I said, I was suspended by YouTube for something that I will admit was my fault. And I should have known better, and they had the right to do what they did. And now I just got to be a little bit more careful, as we go into these next 110 days, if you will, and make sure I don't make sure I don't do another stupid thing like this again. I don't think I will, because like I said, when I got my warning, last year, I was okay afterwards. And according to YouTube, most times people don't deal with this ever again. They usually learn their lesson. But yeah, that's basically why I was not on YouTube for the past week or so. And along with that, like I said, it's been one of those weeks and everything. So again, I just wanted to come on here because I felt I owed you guys an explanation, and you guys do deserve one for those of you that have been supporting me for the past 15 years. As far as my monetization goes, like I said, that's probably not going to happen until at least after November 4th. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully it'll be back up in time for the holiday season. But I am looking for work. And currently, right now, the job situation is looking like it could be promising. I did reapply, on Grocery Outlet's website because they did update that by adding the Patterson store to it. So I updated that along with sending my resume to them, updated and all that. So hopefully I get a call from them or a reply from them soon. And my sister's job hopefully will open up to where the hours will change and I can work around the same hours she does, but in the warehouse, So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what occurs, and just like I said, just go from there, and just hope for the best. But like I said, I just wanted to come on here and give you guys a bit of an update of what happened. Also to let you know that I am on Twitch now at twitch.tv/bwrosas. If you want to check me out there, it will be in the description box. When I update this on YouTube. So if you guys want to check me out at twitch.tv/bwrosas, that'll help me out in a big way. Also check me out at Spotify, where you can get video and audio podcast, there. Help me out there to get to the ambassador ads, which it looks like I'm about to do because I am over 100 followers. So if you guys can help me continue that momentum, it'd be great. Also, check out the Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Also, support me on Patreon. And really, guys, that's all I'm going to say for now. I'm kind of get myself ready to go to sleep, get some sleep, if you will, go to bed and all that. But until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later. Thank you all for watching. And again, I wanted to come on here, give you guys an explanation about what happened. And pray to God it doesn't happen again, which I don't think it will. And until then, I will talk to you all later. God bless. Take care.